Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the H&H Sports Podcast. I'm Tanner Hicks, and as always, joined by my co-host, Jackson Huey. We have a really, really good episode planned out. We have the top 10 NFL players 5 years from now. We each have our own top 10. We're going to be saying who we think is the top 10 players in the NFL 5 years from now. And, this can include college players, like young players right now, maybe even an old player. Who knows? Maybe even Tom Brady will sneak on our list. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a really fun episode. It's nothing to be taken super serious. This is just who we think will be the best players in the next 5 years. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. My 10th best player in the next 5 years is Will Anderson Jr. Now, obviously, Will Anderson Jr. will be playing college ball this year. He's eligible to be drafted after this coming college football season. Will Anderson Jr., there's nothing really new to be said about Will Anderson Jr. He's an absolute monster. Last season, he had 31 and a half TFLs, 17 and a half sacks, and he was 5th in Heisman voting, which is a crime, by the way. He should have easily been top 3. Are you kidding me? But I really don't need to explain that. Yeah, is he a top 10 player 5 years from now? Who knows? This is just predictions. I just think Will Anderson Jr. is that good of a player, and even when you watch him, the eye test checks out and the stats check out. Both sides check out. Will Anderson Jr. is an absolute monster, and I think he'll be a top 10 player in 2027. Is that 5 years?
Yeah, I got Will Anderson Jr. at 10 too. He absolutely balled out as a sophomore at Alabama.
Yeah, like we said, Will Anderson Jr. Not much to be said that hasn't already been said. He's an absolute beast. All right, who is your 9th player?
My 9th player in 5 years is Quentin Nelson.
Big Q, you got an O lineman? Wow.
Quentin Nelson.
Curveball.
Quentin Nelson allowed 1 sack and 15 quarterback pressures in 448 pass blocking snaps this year.
1 sack. That Colts O-line is extremely good.
Yes.
But Big Q does lead the way. Wow, I don't have a single O lineman in here.
That is my only one, and he's the oldest player in my top 10.
That's a curveball, to say the least. I have Jayla Waddle right here, and this is what I was telling you earlier about. This player gave me the idea. I think Jayla Waddle is going to be super good. He was his quarterback play limited what he could do in that offense last season. He had 104 catches, but he only had 1,000 yards. He averaged less than 10 yards per reception last season because Tua doesn't have the greatest arm. Not news to anybody. And yeah, Brissett, Jacoby Brissett, that's who it is. He has an arm, but he just couldn't get the ball to Jayla Waddle deep down the field. So Jayla Waddle, I think quarterback willing that Jayla Waddle will be a top 10 player. Maybe even sooner than 5 years. I think Jayla Waddle is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Jaylen Waddle definitely has the potential to be. Once Tyreek Hill's gone, it'll be his offense for sure.
But even with Tyreek Hill being there, I think that opens up, opportunities for Jaylen Waddle because
it does.
If you have to pick between worrying about Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle, you're gonna worry about Tyreek Hill. So defenses are gonna focus obviously more on Tyreek Hill with his top end speed, but Jaylen Waddle also having that elite top end speed just is going to create a nightmare for defenses against Miami. I think the only thing holding them back is their quarterback play. If Tua can, develop his arm and become more of an accurate passer, then I think that offense has potential to be top 5 in the NFL next season. Just from Waddle and Hill alone, those two are dynamic playmakers, and Jaylen Waddle, like you said, it could limit his catches, but I think it opens up the game for him even more, having Tyreek Hill on the other side. So,
yeah, it does, but it don't at the same time, kind of.
Yeah, it's just, with all that said, I think Jayla Waddle's an absolute beast. Even when you watch him in Alabama with him, Mac Jones throwing in the ball, he's not just a fast guy, right? When you watch him, he's way more than just, a guy who just so fast, he runs streaks, he just catches drags. He's so good at finding the football, and he has such a large catch radius, and he's so good at high pointing the football. Like when you watch him, he gets so high, and he's so good at locating the football and at the catch point. He's much more than just a fast guy. He's a polished receiver. He's a polished route runner, and once they get a quarterback, they can get him the ball deep down the field. Jaylen Waddle's gonna be a nightmare. That even earlier than from 5 years from now. Yeah, who do you have at 8, man?
I have Nick Bosa at 8. In 5 years, he'll be
Wow.
29.
He's still pretty young. Wow.
He had 15 and a half sacks last year. Maybe he's like an Aaron Donald type player.
Dude, I wanted so bad to just put Aaron Donald in here just because he's like 31, 32. Like if maybe he's retired by then, but just I was still like I'd still impulsively just wanted to put Aaron Donald in here. But yeah, Nick Bosa's a beast, man. Like he was kind of underrated last season. Like people were worried about like TJ Watt and Micah Parsons breaking out. They weren't really, focusing on how good of a season that Nick Bosa had. Nick Bosa was elite last season.
Nick Bosa being like pushing 30 in 5 years made him fall on this list for me.
I thought that would bring him higher, in my opinion.
Yeah, we got different opinions, I guess, but I even considered taking him out because I had a couple other guys that I was considering for.
I only didn't really worry about you being 30 or older if you were that elite already. You know what I mean? If you were the cream of the crop, the top of the top, I really didn't worry about your age because we're seeing Aaron Rodgers go win 2 straight MVPs at 36, 37 years old. And I understand that's quarterback position, but it's the elite of the elite don't really age doesn't really matter. That was just my thinking. If you're the cream of the crop, the top of the top 10 in the league, I really didn't factor your age that much. Obviously, yeah, that's why I did put Aaron Donald in here. But if you were 32, 33 and you were still elite, in my opinion, I put you in here.
Yeah, I leaned more towards the younger guys in my list. So we got some diversity here.
My 8th is Jonathan Taylor.
Interesting.
Some people may think that's too low. Some people may even think that's too high, putting a running back in the top 10. But Jonathan Taylor was, as much as it hurts to say me as a Titans fan, was the best running back in the league last season, bar none. He pushed almost
because Henry was injured, but yeah, I get
he was pushing 2,000 yards, almost 20 touchdowns. He averaged 5.5 yards a carry last season. People can say, "Oh, the offensive line was good," but if you watched him in the open field, he was elite last season on every level of being a running back. He was outstanding. I don't care how good the offensive line was. You could say the same. The great pass catcher. You could say the same thing about Nick Chubb. People NFL Twitter raves about Nick Chubb being better than Derrick Henry. Most people say Nick Chubb is the best running back in the entire league. But if you make that argument for Jonathan Taylor, he's got the best offensive line in the league, you have to make that for Nick Chubb too. Nick Chubb's offensive line is arguably better than the Colts, Jonathan Taylor's. So I kind of went on a useless tangent there, but I think Jonathan Taylor will most certainly be a top 10 player 5 years from now. Who knows? Running backs age weirdly in the league. Maybe he's out of the league in 5 years because of an injury, like we saw with Chris Carson. Maybe 5 years ago, nobody knew Chris Carson was going to, be out. Yeah, it's just running backs age weirdly. Their timelines are very skewed between player by player. So
he'll be Derrick Henry's age in 5 years. So just some clarity.
Derrick Henry's that old and Jonathan Taylor's that young, bro.
I'm pretty sure Taylor's 22.
That's so crazy. And he came.
23. So he will beat Derrick Henry's age. Derrick Henry's 28.
That's so crazy. He's so young. He even came out as a junior too. The number 7 player for 2027. I have Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Cool, Joe Burr, whatever you want to call him, Joe Shiesty. Joe Burrow was great last season. He broke pretty much every passing record the Bengals had. Then again, they passed a lot. He was elite last season. He had 4,600 yards, 34 touchdowns, 14 picks, and he had almost 9 yards per attempt. That is elite. That's top of the top. People like during their Super Bowl run, people kind of overrated Joe Burrow a little bit, saying, "Oh, he's a top 5 quarterback." Like right now, like no, he's not. He's not that good. he's a great quarterback. He's not there yet. But I think Joe Burrow is really good. I think he's gotten better every season. Then again, he's only played 2 seasons, but he's gotten better in that time. So I think Joe Burrow is going to be a top 4 quarterback in the NFL in 5 years. So
my 7 is Aidan Hutchinson.
Whoa, the first rookie.
I think he's going to be a beast on that for the Lions on defense.
He is a monster. He was second Heisman voting last season.
Yes, and not very often as a defensive player in the Heisman voting.
Wow.
He had 18.5 sacks last year.
That's a ton. That's part of the reason why he was in Heisman voting. This isn't discounting Aidan Hutchinson at all, but what helped him a lot was having an elite defensive line at Michigan. They had to worry about David Ajabo on the other side of the line too. Now with Detroit, they don't have the greatest defensive line in the world. They have Aleem McNeil,
Right.
Levi Onwuzurike. Who do they have at edge? Romeo Okwara. They don't have the greatest D-line in the entire world. In the NFL, he'll have to worry about more. Like he'll get double teamed way more because I think coming in, he is their best defensive lineman. Yeah, Aidan Hutchinson's a beast, man. Almost 20 sacks last season in the Big Ten is crazy.
He's the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, he was a monster last season.
And he broke the sack record. I think you already mentioned that at Michigan.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I don't blame you for having him that high. I don't have any rookies on here. I don't. I kind of want to see.
He's my only rookie on the list.
The 6th player for 2027. Who do you got?
All right, for 6, I have Justin Herbert.
Herbert.
I'm very high on Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was second in the NFL in passing yards last year, only behind the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. He had a 38 to 15 touchdown interception ratio and the 3rd best QBR in the league. So, and at 24 years old, and he has gotten better every single season. He pretty much broke all of the Chargers rookie touchdown records, and
he has the rookie NFL record.
I mean, all kind of records he's already broken. Yeah, I'm very high on Justin Herbert.
I have the other Justin, and Justin Jefferson at number 6. Justin Jefferson has been a stud. He's been absolutely amazing. He broke on the scene last year, or a couple seasons ago in 2020, and broke pretty much every rookie receiving record that they had, that the NFL had. And last season, he was even better, believe it or not. He had 108 catches, 1,600 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson's just been really good. And I think Kirk Cousins, say whatever you want about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. And if Justin Jefferson can still have that kind of quarterback production, I think he'll still be good 5 years down the road. I think I see a lot of Devontae Adams in him. And if he can have the type of longevity that Devontae Adams has had, Justin Jefferson is, like, not even a question going to be a top 10 player in the league in 5 years.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Top five in 5. Who do you got?
2nd year player, Micah Parsons.
I have him at 5 too.
Micah Parsons was insane last season. He easily made the Cowboys defense 10 times better. And he
changed the defense. Like they tried him out at Mike, or an off-ball linebacker, And that's what he kind of came out as, this hybrid, attacking 4-3 linebacker. That's how Penn State used him. And he really, through the first couple of games, he really didn't have this established role. But then Dan Quinn put him at edge, and it completely
he
changed
exploded.
that. It completely changed that defense. No, he's so quick and so fast off the line that no offensive lineman could keep up with him. It was easily the best decision that defense could have made. He was sixth in sacks last season. This is all as a rookie. He was sixth in sacks last season, fourth in pressures, and 13th in hurries. I know that's not great, but as a rookie, all of those stats are outstanding. Micah Parsons was easily the best rookies last season. I don't care about Jamal Chase. I don't care about any of the other rookies. Micah Parsons last season was the best rookie, and he was in conversations for Defensive Player of the Year. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year, and as a rookie, he was getting votes for Defensive Player of the Year. He was the Cowboys' defense last season. I don't care about Trayvon Diggs. I don't care about Trayvon Diggs. He's not in this list.
Yeah, I think if they can put the right pieces around Micah Parsons, that Cowboys defense is finally going to be what it should have been years ago.
Number 4. I have Justin Herbert. Just a spot, or a couple spots ahead of where you had him. There's pretty much no more we need to say about Justin Herbert that you haven't already said. 5,000 yards last season, almost 40 touchdowns, 15 picks, but they threw a lot, and he had 7.5 yards per attempt. Justin Herbert was the Chargers' best player last season. He didn't have the defensive support that defense should have gave him. If they had any type of average defense last season, that the Chargers would have been 11-12 win team. And I think that's what they can be this season. So Justin Herbert is the reason the Chargers won any games last season. So Justin Herbert's going to be amazing. I think he's the next great quarterback in the league, man. He's going to be super, super good. Who do you have at number 4?
At 4, I have Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I got a feeling he's my favorite for the MVP this year for obvious reasons. He's got the best roster in football. Arguably could have went to the AFC championship game last year if it went for. I mean, I think the defense really held them back in that game because I ain't gonna say held them back, but they kind of did. I mean,
they definitely
if you stop the Chiefs' offense. Yeah.
13 seconds. 13 seconds. 13 seconds.
13 seconds.
So yeah, Josh Allen is obviously, I think he's stamped to be at least a top 5 player in the next 5 years. I have him higher personally, but yeah, I don't blame you for having him this high. Top 3, I have Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett is right now the second best defender in the entire league, obviously behind Aaron Donald. But in 5 years, who knows if Aaron Donald is still in the league or as good as he is now. In 5 years, I think Myles Garrett will be the best defender in the NFL. Last season, he was 3rd in sacks. He was tied 1st in pressures, and he was 9th in hurries. In my opinion, should have been Defensive Player of the Year. Whatever, I don't care. Myles Garrett is absolutely amazing, the best edge rusher in the NFL, in my opinion. There's nothing more I need to say. Myles Garrett is absolutely amazing. Second best defender in the NFL.
At 3, I have Jamal Chase.
Whoa. Jamar Chase.
He had an outstanding rookie year. He had 1,400 yards, 4th most in the NFL. He had 13 touchdowns, 3rd in most in the NFL, and 18 yards per catch. Yeah, I mean, that's like you said, it's just predictions. So
yeah, it's just fun. You had Quentin Nelson in here, and the only things we have the same are Will Anderson and Micah Parsons. I don't even have Jamar Chase on here.
Wow.
I just think Jefferson would be better. Jefferson's my only receiver besides Waddle.
All right, I'll you just said I think Jefferson would be better, and Justin Jefferson is my number 2.
What? Number 2? Oh my gosh.
108 receptions, 4th in the NFL, 1,600 yards, 2nd in the NFL, and 10 touchdowns, tied for 6th in the NFL. And he had 15 yards per catch, which is 14th in the NFL. So, like you said earlier, Justin Jefferson is just outstanding.
Well, at 2, I have Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the uh, cover boy for the NFL, pretty much. The cover boy young guy. 4,800 yards, 37 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He started the year pretty bad, but as the year went on, he just got better and better and better, and won and won and won and won. Eventually, leveled out the Chiefs to how they usually are, which we all hated to see. Mahomes, the best quarterback in the NFL right now at this moment, in my opinion. He's so dynamic. He does pretty much whatever he wants back there. If you watch the Super Bowl of 2020 against the Bucks, you pretty much know how good of a quarterback he is. Yeah, they lost a game. Yeah, he didn't play that well of a game, but the way he was escaping the pocket, he literally threw a pass like 2 inches off the ground. Like what?
Laying flat.
Like that's all that you need. That like all the tape you need to show anybody to show how good of a quarterback Patrick Mahomes is, and he almost completed that pass too. Is
Tyreek Hill, it was on the money. It was on the money, and Tyreek Hill dropped it.
That like Mahomes is great. I just think he'll be the second best player 5 years from now. I think Mahomes is going to age super well. Yeah, he uses his athleticism now, but I think he'll be someone who knows how to transition and, age pretty well at the quarterback position. The number one player in 5 years, who do you got?
My number one is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes already has arguably a Hall of Fame resume at 26 years old. I mean, he's a 4-time Pro Bowl, a 1-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, and he has an NFL MVP. And I think there'll be more to come of those. I think he'll get 1 or 2 more Super Bowls and probably 1 or 2 more MVPs too. He's just, like you said, he's outstanding, and I think he'll age well, just like you said.
Absolutely valid. At number 1, Joshua Allen. At number 1, I think Josh Allen is amazing. I've said that about every player here, but Josh Allen has the tools to be an all-time great quarterback. Now, can have if the Bills can keep up this way of team building and keep up, just have this type of roster for years to come. I think I say this kind of loosely. I think Josh Allen can have a Tom Brady kind of career arc, like early Tom Brady.
Whoa.
Like I'm not saying he's going to end with 7 Super Bowls. I'm saying like early Tom Brady kind of career arc where he steps in, the young guy, he gets better by like year 2 or year 3, and then he comes in, the team's good, and they just start winning Super Bowls. I think with the amount of talent that Josh Allen has around him, he can lead this Bills team to a couple of Super Bowls, and that's why I'm saying early Tom Brady kind of career arc. I think this Bills team is good enough, and Josh Allen is obviously good enough to lead this Bills team to a couple Super Bowls within the next 5 years. That's my top 10. Our top 10 is similar in some ways, extremely different in other ways.
I do have a couple of honorable mentions. I have to say Myles Garrett, obviously. Another one would be Jair Alexander. Another one I was considering is Kyle Pitts. Yeah, I think more of top 15 fits him better, is why I took him out of my list.
A couple of honorable mentions for me. I have Jamal Chase, Bryce Young. I was thinking about putting Bryce Young in here.
I did think about Bryce Young.
AJ Terrell. I thought about putting AJ Terrell in here. That seems like a stretch. He's only had like 1 good season, but in his second year, you could argue he was the best corner in the NFL last season. And I think AJ Terrell could be super good in his career. Top 10, I don't know. That's why I took him out. Najee Harris was an honorable mention. I think he's so Derrick Henry like, and if the Steelers can get that offensive line right, he could do the things that Derrick Henry could do and be better. He had 74 catches last season. Derrick Henry is not a pass catching running back. Najee Harris could easily be better than what Derrick Henry is now. So that's why I have an honorable mention for him. The last honorable mention I have is Debo Samuel. Now, Debo Samuel could easily be run to the ground within 5 years with the way the 49ers used him last year. running, like catching, even passing. Like he could easily be run to the ground within the next 5 years. That's why he held out, because if the 49ers are going to use him as much as he does, he wants to get paid more money. Obviously, they broke the bank and paid him as much as he wanted.
Yeah, there's a clause in there. If he gets used like so many times as a running back, he gets so much money or whatever. But I think I'm wondering if he did that to try to stop them from using him like that, because I don't think he wants to be used like that, really.
It's a big load, like having to do pretty much play the entire offense can be pretty wearing on a player. He an honorable mention because I think if the 49ers keep using him that way, he could have like no legs by the time he's 32. If he stays healthy and still has the type of production like this, I could easily see him being a top 10 player. He was a top 10 player this past year. So who knows? Maybe our list could be completely wrong, and all of our honorable mentions are in the actual list. But those are just my honorable mentions. All right, that's the end of the episode, guys. We hope you guys enjoyed this type of episode. We've been, like I said, we've been more, projection type of episodes. There's still 3 more weeks until college football, and we cannot wait. We're going to be pumping out podcast episodes once the football season starts. We're going to have 1 episode for college football, 1 episode for the NFL. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We cannot wait for football season to start. But right now, we're still doing off-season stuff with projections. I think this was a super fun episode to record and even prepare for. Just, putting together a top 10 list of not just players right now, but players we think will be the best in 5 years. I think that was super fun to do. If you guys enjoyed this type of episode, please comment down below and tell us. Leave a like. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on notifications, and also tell us who are your top 10 players in 5 years in the comment section below. We would love to hear it. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us wherever you guys get your podcasts. We're there. And we appreciate you guys listening. We'll see you guys next week.